Greetings, you Hackrobats. I hope you're doing well. My name is Graham, and this is the Crack-A-Pack on LRRMTG, where today we are opening a pack of Ravnica Allegiance. This was given to us by Lily M at C2E2 in 2019, which was a lovely time in Chicago. For me, this was, I was saying famously, but it's not particularly famous, but this is the time when Beej and I were doing C2E2 with Ian and Kathleen one weekend, and then PAX East with, I want to say, Cameron and Adam the next weekend. Cameron and Corey, perhaps? And so we just, rather than fly home for 2 days and fly back, we just stayed in Chicago and took a train, an overnight train. It was fun. I got vlogs up about it. Anyway, Ravnica Allegiance. Turns out, because we try not to duplicate nicknames, we've opened a variety of Ravnica Allegiance on the show over the years, but it's time for another. And we begin with a feral Maka who has just way too many eyes. It's like 6 eyes? I mean, it's still cute, but I'm glad that like house cats on Ravnica don't have 6 eyes. 1 in a red for a 2/2. And that's it. Vanilla creatures, everybody. Shocking. They should have put a vanilla creature in Modern Horizons 3 just to like freak people out. What's this? What does it do? I don't understand. Concordia Pegasus is next. It's 1 in a white for a 1/3 with flying, which is also like all that does. I mean, flying is an ability. We call those French vanilla, but it's, that's it. Now, Concordia Pegasus, very fun in the high alert deck because it hits for 3. It's good in the Azorius deck and the Orzhov deck because it's a good blocker. It's good against the Orzhov deck too because it blocks those 1/1 spirits really well, the Afterlife ones. Honestly, I take Concordia Pegasus maybe not this high, not first pick, but I take it fairly highly. Thought Collapse is next. It's 1 blue for an instant counter target spell. Cool. What else? Its controller puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. You could mill people out in this format as well, and this was another way to enable such. Sylvan Brushstrider, on the other hand, was a way to keep you just slightly more alive. It's 2 in a green for a 3/2 beast, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Neat. Sometimes you played it. Carrion Imp is 3 and a black for a 2/3 imp with flying, and when Carrion Imp enters the battlefield, you may exile target creature card from a graveyard. If you do, you gain 2 life. Nice. Especially if you're milling them out. They've already got stuff in their graveyard. I think Carrion Imp was a fairly common include in decks that could run it. Oh god, who keeps letting the Simic do stuff? Scuttlegator is next. 4 Simic, that's hybrid mana to you, for a 6/6 crab turtle crocodile. And like, it's all so normal, except for the crab eyes. Like, a turtle with a big tail and a crocodile head, and like the turtle is a little crabby and the legs are maybe a little crabby, is like, that's totally fine. But the weird eye stalk crab eyes coming out of the crocodile head is unsettling. It's got Defender. Thank God it's not going to come at you right away. But also, it has Adapt 3. Now, Adapt says, if this creature has no +1/+1 counters on it, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. And the cost to do this is 6 Simic. So it's 8 mana to adapt it. But then it has Adapt 3, so it becomes a 9/9. And also, as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. So Adapt is very similar to Monstrous from Original Theros, with a couple sort of distinctions. Adapt, you could only do if there were no counters on it. So if a +1/+1 counter had gotten on here some other way, you couldn't then also pay for the adapt cost and put more counters on it. But the happy flip side of that is that if you could get a +1/+1 counter on this through some other way, like Biogetic Mutation, I think was a card, or there are some cards that can move counters around, then you still get the bonus. You don't have to have adapted for this to be able to attack. You just have to get a counter on it somehow, and there were cheaper ways to do that. Also, it's a big wall. Also, I don't think this card was very good, but in general, Adapt was pretty cool. Monstrous was weird and different, and it had this thing where if the counters got cleared off a monstrous creature, you couldn't make it monstrous again, because it became monstrous as just like a state that the game rules were aware of. So adapt's probably a little bit better. It's interestingly different, he says, as someone who pushes gently back against the notion that all mechanics are kicker. Applied Biomancy is not the card I was thinking of when I said that. I was thinking of the one where you put like 1 counter and 2 counter and 3 counters. I don't remember what that one's called. This one, however, is green and blue, and you can choose one or both. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and return target creature to its owner's hand. So you could really blow out combat with that one. Make a block, your thing doesn't die, bounce their other thing. Gateway Plaza, it just keeps getting destroyed. It enters tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, you sacrifice it unless you pay 1 generic mana, and you tap to add 1 mana of any color. It's Rupture Spire, it's Trends Guild Promenade, it's not as good as the other one that lets you tap an artifact instead. But it gets the job done. Debtor's Transport, 5 and a black for a 5/3 Thrall with Afterlife 2. When this creature dies, you create 2 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. So the Debtor's Transport is someone owes the church a debt, and then they put them in the box and drag them around on a large, soft thing. The flavor text, by design, the sarcophagus muffles the debtor's moans, but does not silence them. So there's someone still alive in that box that's steaming, apparently. Also, why does this thrall have such a small mask? Couldn't they have given it a bigger mask? You've heard me talk on this show before, if you've been watching for a while, about keystones from Dragon's Maze. And we stand only for keystone slander on this show, but luckily the lockets are here and they're better. Simic Locket is our next one. It's 3 mana for an artifact that taps for green or blue, and then you can pay 4 hybrid Simic mana in whatever combination you wish to assemble, and tap and sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. Neat. The lockets were totally fine. Sphinx of New Prav is white, blue, blue for a 4/3 with flying and vigilance. Tough to cast, tough to have hitting you repeatedly. Also, spells that your opponents cast that target Sphinx of New Prav cost 2 more to cast. Proto Ward. Ooh. Yeah. 4/3 Flying Vigilance Ward 2 for white, blue, blue. Sign me up. Oh, it's Gate Colossus. It's an 8/8 for 8. He likes gates. Gate. For gate. Anyway, it's a construct. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each gate you control. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so you can't throw your weenies in front of it. And whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library. It's the Gates deck. It was fun and neat and powerful and killed people, and Gate Colossus was a big part of it. That could be the first pick here. Fireblade Artist. It's another really good card. Black, red for a 2/2 human shaman with haste, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, Fireblade Artist deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Yeah, this could be fun. You could do some shenanigans with Fireblade Artist. We have a Centaur token, and our land is the Gruul Guild Gate, tapping for red or green. You could open by taking gates. You wouldn't take a gate over the Gate Colossus, because that's just signaling that you're not doing that. So you would take the Gate Colossus, but you could take a gate early. Our rare, though, is Growth Chamber Guardian, the elf with crab legs for shoulders. 1 and a green for a 2/2 elf crab warrior, and for 2 and a green, adapt 2. So it's a 2 mana 2/2, and then you can pay 3 mana and make it a 4/4. Sure. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Growth Chamber Guardian, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Not really something you're going to get away with a lot in draft, though I recall now, definitely losing a game to someone who just went turn 2 this, turn 3 make it a 4/4, hit you repeatedly, and protect it. And then I just couldn't, I fell so far behind. But having more than one of these in draft is kind of a big wish. The whole pack is worth 82 cents, which, I don't love to tell you because it's kind of sad. But what I can tell you is that I would easily first pick Gate Colossus out of this pack and never look back. So that's cool. Let me know if you would do anything different, but, you know, I think like the spider spawning deck or the 5-color morph deck from Innistrad or Khans of Tarkir, respectively, every time this comes back to Flashback Draft, everyone's like, ooh, I'm going to draft some gates. And if you can open the Gate Colossus, then, you know, then you have a shot at it. Otherwise, you're going to be, you know, fighting over the high alert scraps like me. Hey, everybody, that's going to do it for Crack-a-Pack for today. I hasten to remind you that you can support us directly at our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun or by becoming a member of this channel. Members get shoutouts at the end of Tap Tap Concede. Until next time, I have been Graham. James has been over there on tech. Matt has been editing it with Jordan, and Heather has been getting it online. I don't know why I conjugated this outro this way. It's needlessly confusing. All those people are involved, and so are you. Hey, thanks. Talk to you next time.